Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle, and it's called, or actually, let's get to the caveat first. It's considered easy by the people on the Logic Masters Germany forum, and there's a lot of really smart people there, so take that easiness with a grain of salt. And today's puzzle is called Quadphonia by Asvarel, and here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means fill each row, column, and 3x3 box with the digits 1 through 9 once each. We also have Dutch whisper lines, where along orange lines, digits must differ from their neighbors by at least 4. So for example, if this digit were 3, this digit would have to be 7, 8, or 9, because the only digits that are 4 or more away from 3 are 7, 8, or 9. And that's how Dutch whispers works. We also have quadruples, where digits inside a circle appear in one of the 4 surrounding cells. So this is saying that in one of the 4 surrounding cells, there must be a 2, a 5, a 6, and a 9. In this quad circle, this is saying in one of the 4 surrounding cells, there has to be a 2, a 4, or a 5. In this quadruple circle, it's saying there must be 2 7s that are in the 4 surrounding cells. And in this quadruple circle, it's saying there has to be a 5 and 2 8s in the 4 surrounding cells of this quadruple. And that's how quadruples work. And then we have consecutive pair, otherwise known as a white Kropke pair, where digits separated by a small white dot must be consecutive. So as an example, if this were a 6, this would have to be a 5 or a 7 to maintain the consecutiveness between these digits. And those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now I'm going to get it started. Let's go. Okay, so for quadruple rules, we know that these digits must be 2, 5, 6, or 9, because all 4 cells must contain one of these. Each of the 4 cells must contain one of the 4 digits that are there. So the remaining digits now in the box have to be 1, 3, 4, 7, and 8. Okay. Similarly, 2, 4, and 5 have to be one of these 4 cells. And actually, we know 7 has to be, one of them has to be here, and the other one has to be here, which means in this box, in box 6, the 7 has to be here. In box 9, the 7 has to be here. Similarly, we have 8 can be either here, in here, or here and here, right? Because they would eliminate the other possibilities if it were. So 8 cannot be, one of these 2 is 8, one of these 2 is 8, one of these 2 is 8, and one of these 2 is 8. So 7 has to be one of these 3, because in box 6, it's one of these 2. In box 9, it's one of these 2, which eliminates 7 from the rest of columns 8 and 9. So therefore, the 7 has to be in column 7. This cannot be 7 or 8. Well, because this can't be 7 or 8, this has to be 1, 3, or 4. And 1, 3, or 4 can only be 4 away from 7 and 8, right? If you try to have a 1 here, 1 is not 4 away from 1, 3, or 4. So this cannot be 1, 3, or 4. Similarly, if this is 1, it could be 5 or higher. If it's 3, it could be 7 or higher. If it's 4, this has to be 8 or higher. So this also has to be 4 away from 7 or 8, so it can't be 7 or 8 here. So this is 1, 3, or 4. The 1, 3, or 4 can only be 4 away from 5 through 9, and it can't be 7 or 8 here. So this is specifically 5, 6, or 9. Same here. This could be 5 through 9, but we don't know which one it is. Okay. These 2 digits have to either be, it's either 2 with 6 or 9, Or it's 5 and 9 specifically. 6 and 9 are not 4 away from each other, obviously. If it's 5 and 9... If this were 6, it would have to be 2 and 1 specifically here. We don't really have anything else along those, though. These cannot be 2, 4, 5. So of these remaining cells, we have 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9 remaining. So either, we're not sure about this, is the question. Oh, this forms a set of unique digits. The one, okay, what could it be here is the question, right? 'Hmm. This cannot be 8. Well, actually, it could be 8. Then this could be 9. That's possible. So this cannot be 6, 7, or 8, because if this was 6, 7, or 8, it's not 4 away from 5 through 9. It could be 9 here if this is 5. It could also be 1 or 3 here. Any of these are valid still. Any of these are valid. Two, 4, or 5 is not 4 away from any of the other 2, 4, or 5s. So these digits then must be specifically 2, 4, or 5. And one of these two digits is the other 2, 4, or 5. But we're not sure which one it is. We just know 2 out of these 2, 4, 5 has to be here. Because 2, 4, and 5 are not 4 away from each other. If this is 8, this could be 8 and 8 here. If this is 8 and 8, the problem is 5 has to be one of these two cells then. And 5 is not 4 away from 8. So this cannot be specifically 8 and 8. Therefore, these both have to be 8 and 8. So these are both 8. This can't be 5 because it has to be at least 4 away from 8. So this is 1 through 4, which makes this 1 through 5. This has to be a 5. Since this is a 5, it can only be next to 1 and 9 on the Dutch whisper line because those are the only digits that are 4 away from it. So this has to be the 1 and 9 here. This can't be 5. This can't be 5. And this can't be 5. So 5 has to be one of these two. 5 has to be one of these three. This is 8, which can only be next to 1 through 4. This can only be next to 1 through 4. 1 through 4 can only be next through 5 through 9. Right? Because 4 away from 1 is 5 and above. So then this must be a 5, 9, 5, 9 pair. Because those are the only digits remaining that are 4 away from each other out of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this must be 5 and 9. Remaining digits then. This cannot be 5 through 9. It cannot be 8. It could be 1 through 4. It can't be 7. It could be 6. Same here. This is 1 through 4 and 6. These are 1 through 4, 6, and 7. This is 1 through 4, so this has to be 5, 6, no 7, no 8, or it could be 9 here. 5 has to be one of these 2 here, and 5 has to be one of these 3 here. One of these has to be a 7. So the other digit has to be 4 away from 7. So if this is 7, obviously, then this would be 1, 2, or 3. If this is 7, though, so if this is 7, this is 1, 2, or 3. If this is 7, this has to also be 1, 2, or 3. So this can't be 4 or 6. If this is 7, this becomes 1, 2, or 3 also. If this is 1, 2, or 3, it could be 5 through 9, though. But it can't be 7. Okay. What else do we have remaining? This cannot be 8 here because of this 8. If this is 5, this would be 9. This would be 2 and 6. And this could be 1 through 4. If this is a 2, this would have to be 6. Which would force us to be 1? So can this ever be 2? I guess it could be 2, 6, and 9 here. That's possible. Okay. What else do we have? We have 4 and 6 remaining. Where does 6 have to be? In box 5. If this were 6, that would work because it would be next to 1 and 2. If this is 6, it would work because it's next to 1. If this is 6, it could be next to a 2. Every other 6 is not possible because then the problem is it would have to be next to a 1 or 2. So similarly, 4 is in the same spot, right? So 4 and 6 both have to be in one of these two areas. If this is 4, this could actually be 8 if that's possible. So 4 and 6 can only be in these three areas because they can only be next to, if they're next to two digits, it has to be 8 and 9 on a Dutch whisper line. And the 9 is one of these two, and the 1 is one of these two. Similarly, for the 6, it has to be next to 1 and 2. Or it could just be next to one digit, which would be here. So this cannot be 1, 5, or 9, obviously, because we already have those sets, and it can't be 4 and 6. So it's specifically 2, 3, 7, 8 here. Okay. That seems to work okay. We know 9 has to be one of these two, or sorry, one of these four cells. It also has to be one of these four cells, so therefore the 9 has to be one of these three. Interesting. These can be 4, 6, 2, 3, 7, 8. So it could be 4, 6, 4, 6. Can it be 4, 6, and 4, 6 here? No, because you can only go high, low in that situation, right? So if this was 4, this would be low. Consider that would be next to a high, which would be next to a low, which would be next to a high, which would be next to a low, and 6 is not a low. So therefore, 4 and 6 cannot be on both ends of this set. This then has to be 4 or 6. One of these is 4 or 6, and we're not sure which. This can't be 8 because of the 8 here. This is 1, 2, 3, or 7. What else do we have? This is 4 or 6. So say this was low, this would be high. If this is low, this is high, which makes that 5, which makes this low. And then this would be high. So it could be 6 here. If this was 4. 4, 9, 5, 1, 6. That's possible. Then 2, 7 or 8, 3. And then the other set, which would be 7. Why don't we just go through every possibility then? Say this was a 4. This would have to be 8, which would make this 2 or 3, which would make that 7. This would also be 2 or 3, which would make that 9, which makes that 1, 9, 5, 1, and therefore that's 6. That works. I think it actually just goes down to the same ones, right? Yeah. I don't think there's any difference. If this is 2, 3, this becomes 7, 8, which makes that 2, 3, which makes this 8. So if this is 2, 3, this would be 7, 2, 3, 8, 4, 9, 5, 1, 6. Yeah, so that works fine. This can't be 8. I don't know if that tells us anything. One of these three is an 8. That's interesting. But the 4 still could be here. Yeah, it doesn't tell us anything really. Oh, where is the 7 in row 5? Cannot be any of these cells because one of these has to be a 7. Can't be any of these because of how we learned how this box functions, right? The 4 and 6 cannot be both in these two spots. Can't be any of these because it has to be surrounded by 2, 5, 6, 9. So it has to be one of these two cells. Therefore, this is a 7 or 8. And 7 or 8 can be next to only 2 or 3, or 2, 3, or 4 here. So this has to be the other 7 or 8, which means that cannot be a 7 or 8 in the remaining cells. This can't be a 6 anymore because it's next to a 7 or 8. Therefore, this must be 6. This is 2, 3, or 4. It must be next to 9. This has to be 1. These cannot be 6. These cannot be 9. So this is 2 or 6. 6 cannot only be next to another 2, but these can't be 2 because of the 2, 6 pair that's here. So this is a 5, 9 pair. Well, 6 can't be next to either of them. Therefore, this must be 2. 5 can't be next to 2, so this must be 9, which makes that a 5, which makes that 6. This can no longer be 2. This can't be 2. This can only be a 6 because that's the only digit remaining that is 4 away from 2. So this is 6. This can be 1, 3, or 4. We're not sure which. This has to be, we have a 1, 3, 4 triplet in the box, which eliminates 1, 3, and 4 from the rest of the box. So this is 7 or 8. This can't be 6. This can't be 6. 6 can only be next to 1 now, aside from 2. So this is 1. 1 can be next to 5 through 9, but 6 is already taken, so this is 5, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 1 anymore, so one of these is a 1. This can't be 1. Therefore, this must be 2, 3, or 4. And this must be 2, 3, or 4. The remaining digits here are 5, 6, and 9. So this is 5, 6, and 9. Well, 2, 3, and 4 can only be next to 5 and 9. It can't be next to 5. Sorry, it can be next to 6 and 9, not 5. So this has to be 6 and 9, which means one of these has to be a 2. The other one we don't know about. So this can't be 2. Cannot be 2. This 2, 3, or 4 can only be 4 away from a 7. Can't be 1 or 3. Therefore, this is a 7, which means this can't be 7, which means this is a 7. So this can't be 7. This can't be 4 anymore because it's next to a 7. So this is 2 or 3. This is 2, 3, or 4. We have a 6, 9, 6, 9 pair. This can only then be 1 through 5, which it can be next to. This 1, 2, or 3 can be next to a 5 through 9. This 5 through 9 can be through next to 1 through 5, but this can't be 1. This can't be 1. This has to be a 1 remaining because this is a 2, 3, 4 triplet. So this has to be a 1, which means this can't be 1. The only place for 1 now in box 4 is here. So this is 1. This cannot be 5 because it's next to a 3 or a 4. And 5 cannot be 4 away from 3 or 4. So this is a 9, which makes this a 5. So this can't be 5. This can't be 9. This can't be 9. This 5 can only be 4 away from 1 out of 1 through 4. So this is 1. These can't be 1. This can't be 1. Okay. Remaining digits here are 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. But if this were 5, neither of these could be 1 or 9, and it has to be next to 1 or 9 on a Dutch whisper line. So this can never be 5. If this is 3 or 4, it has to be next to a 7 or 8 here. If it's 7 or 8, it has to be next to a 2 or 3 because it can't be 1 here. Okay, I guess it could be 2, 3, or 4. So either of those will work. And this could be a lot of things here. This is 7. This cannot be 2 because if that were 2, this would have to be 3. And that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell. Similarly, this can't be 2. So this has to be a 4 here, which means this can't be 4. We have a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair in row 5, which eliminates 2 and 3 from the rest of the row. So this must be a 4 here. One of these is a 4. We're not sure which. This is 3, 4, 5, which can only be next to 8 or 9 here. It cannot be 5 or 6 there because those aren't 4 away from 3, 4, 5. This 3, 4, 5, again, it can't be 1 because of the 1 already in the row. So it would have to be 9 or 7 here. So this is 7 or 9. This would then be a low. So this is 2, 3, 4, cannot be 5. This would be a high. So this would be 6, 7, 9. Well, this can only be 5, 7, or 8, and it's next to 6, 7, and 9, so this has to be 5. This has to be a 5, which makes this a 9, which makes that 7. 7 can only be next to 3 out of 3, 4, 5, so this is 3, this is 4. This can't be 3 or 4 because it's next to a 7, so this is a 2. This 9 means this has to be an 8. This 3 means this can't be a 3, so this is 2, which makes that a 3, which makes that a 2. The 3 can only be next to a 9 on a Dutch whisper line out of 6 and 9. So this is 9, this is 6. This cannot be 2 or 3. So that's 1, 4, 5. That's fine. The remaining digits in row 8 are 4 and 6, but this can't be 4, so this must be 6, which makes this a 4. This can't be 2 or 4, so this is 3. This can't be 9 anymore, so this is 1 or 3 here. Which means this must be high, so it has to be 6, 7, 8, and 9. This can't be 6 or 9. So we have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair. These can't be 2. The remaining digits now are 4, 5, and 3. So this is 3, 4, 5. This is 3, 4, 5. And this can't be 5 specifically. Remaining digit here are 3, 4, and 6. So it's 3, 4, 6, 3, 4, 6. This can't be, this has to be 4 away from 7 or 8. Cannot be 1. This has to be a 3, which makes this a 1. So this can't be 1 or 3 here. This has to be 6 through 9. 6 through 9 is a high, which means it must be next to a low, or it's a 5. But 5 can't be here. 5 can't be here anymore. This is 3, 4, 5, but it can't be 3. So we have a 4, 5, 4, 5 pair here, which forces them to be 2. This has to be high, and it cannot be 8 or 7, and 6 is not 4 away from 4 or 5, so this must be 9. And this has to be 2 away from, sorry, it's next to 2 different digits, unique digits on a Dutch whisper line, but 1 is not possible here, so this has to be 4, which makes this 8. This can't be 4 anymore. This can't be 8, and it can't be 3 or 4 because it's next to 2 or 3. So this must be 7. So this can't be 7. This must be 1 through 5, but no 4. Can't be 2, 3, 4, so this is specifically 1 or 5. This has to be a 5 here. This can't be 8, so this is 7, which makes that 8. This 8 means this can't be 8, so this is 7, which makes that 8. Therefore, that's a 7. This 7 cannot be next to a 4 on a Dutch whisper line, so this is 3, 2, and this must be 4, which makes this a 3, which makes that a 4. This can no longer be 8, and it can't be 7, so this must be 6. This can't be 1 anymore. This has to be 1, 2, or 3, because it's next to a 7 on a Dutch whisper line, but it can't be 3. Okay, and the rest is probably just Sudoku. So this has to be a 6, because it can't be 7, 8, 9. This can't be 7, so where's the 7 in column 7? It has to be here. This can't be 3 or 6, so this is 4, which makes that 3, which makes that a 6. Remaining digits in box 7 are 2, 7, 8. And this can't be 2 or 7, so this is 8. This can't be 7, so this is 2, which makes that a 7. The remaining digits in box 9 are 1, 5, and 9. This can't be 1 or 5, so this is 9, but these both could be 1 or 5. Well, we have a 1, 5, 1, 5 pair now in column 7, which eliminates 1 and 5 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this has to be a 9 from the digits remaining. Digits remaining in column 2 are 4 and 5, and this can't be 5, so this is 4, which makes that a 5. This 5 means this can't be 5, so this is 4. Digits remaining in row 3 are 2 and 8, and this can't be 2. Therefore, this is 8, which makes this a 2. This can't be 2, so this must be 1. Therefore, this has to be a 9 as the only digit remaining. This can't be a 2, so and the only digits remaining in column 3 are 2 and 3, so this is a 3, which makes this a 2. This 1 means this can't be a 1, so this is a 5, which makes that 1, which makes that 5. The digits remaining in column 8 are 1 and 6. This can't be 1, so this must be 6, which makes that a 1, which leads us to 8 and 3. And that's a solution. Yeah, pretty interesting use of the quad circles with the Dutch whisper lines, which limits things a decent amount, right? But it doesn't limit it that much. But yeah, that was pretty cool, actually. A pretty good use of the Dutch whisper line rule set with the quads. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.